What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Real Talk. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about different natural bodybuilding federations. So I have Jordan. He reached out to me. He sent me an email. Jordan is about to begin his own bodybuilding journey, and he was wondering if I could make a video about natural bodybuilding organizations. This is something I really do like to touch upon because there are plenty of natural bodybuilding federations. So what he wrote was that he knows that there are 60 plus organizations, and some of the main ones that he's aware of are the INBA/PNBA, INBF/WNBF, OCB, DFAC, and NGA. So he mentioned that he seems like the top three listed are the most respected and reputable, but he's not sure why, and he was wondering if I could do a video to talk about the different details on these organizations and the ones that I actually chose to compete in, and which one, and is there a gold standard to which organization to compete in. So he wants to know my thoughts, and that's exactly what I like to talk about, my experiences and my thoughts. So there are plenty of different natural bodybuilding federations. Just the ones that I did touch upon on. One of them, the two that I did compete in are WNBF and also the NGA. So my first season, the only two shows I competed in was the WNBF. I wanted to do an NGA show, however, due to time conflict, I wasn't able to do a NGA show. However, my last season, back in 2018, I was able to start off my season with the NGA show. I did one WNBF show and actually finished my season with another NGA Pro debut show. So this is what I'm going to talk about. One thing that Jordan's aware of is that every shows in different federations depends on where you're from, the East Coast, West Coast. So around from where I'm at, New York City, by the heart of New York, on the East Coast, there are a few WNBF shows. There's actually two in Manhattan, well, at least in New York, and then there's a few in upstate New York, more closer to Rochester, which was my first show that I competed in. And there's also one in New Jersey, and I think that's about it. And then there's also a lot of NGA shows. There's quite a few in New Jersey. So one thing that's for sure is that the natural bodybuilding scenes it's getting very saturated. I mean, it was saturated like 2 years ago when I first started competing, but now it's even more saturated because like this time now in the spring is like when the season opens. So basically every month there's like a different show coming up. So there's an NGA show coming up in March, and in April there's WNBF, INBF, and in May there's going to be some in Connecticut. So there's also an OCB show around where I'm at. So really choosing out the show, what I recommend is choosing one that's most convenient for you, because I don't know how many shows you're planning to do, but for me, if I was dieting for a long period of time, I definitely want to do more than one show, because it's a lot of work that you put in whenever you go through a contest prep. So you want to make sure you get the most experience you can out of the season, because who knows how long you're going to be competing for, or how long you're going to be taking an off season for. So it's very important to consider which shows, how long you want to do it for. So let's talk about it. WNBF. If there was a gold standard, I would say WNBF, INBF will be the gold standard for natural bodybuilding, because whenever they're very strict on their just on their own rules and terms. For example, I was fortunate enough to get my NGA Pro card, and however, I am able to transfer my pro status in the OCB and IPE. So like I can actually, like, as long as I transfer my pro status, I can still compete at a pro level at those different federations. However, even though I'm a pro in these other federations, I would be considered an amateur in the WNBF, because they only take in their own pros. So for example, if you turn pro in WNBF, your pro status is good for every federations. However, if you turn pro only in other federations and not in the WNBF, you can still compete as a pro in the other shows, other organizations. However, when you compete in the WNBF, you'll be competing as an amateur. So, for example, my first show, usually whenever you do a polygraph, there's like I believe there's like a 90-day window or 60-day window where your polygraph testing results is covered, right? So like because it's expensive, it's about like, I believe it was like $90 I think for a polygraph, or a little bit cheaper, but you don't want to pay that for every show you do. So for example, I did a show in May and I thought it was going to cover till for the WNBF, but when I mentioned it to them, they mentioned to me that I had to re-polygraph myself because they only take results from their own polygraphers. So meaning, even though I passed it and I have the results and I have the card, they wanted me to take it again. I don't think it's like a money issue. I think they just wanted to be sure, which is it's kind of annoying, but I do understand. Rules are rules, right? So I had to go through their own polygraph and go through the whole process again. However, if you're polygraphed from somewhere else, I think if you were to go to like an NGA show, you'll be covered. So in my area, there's a lot of NGA shows during the spring and also summer. However, one of the promoters that I actually did the show for, they're actually refine tuning their show. So they actually went OCB. So basically, the promoters that I did a show for, they're actually promoting for OCB now. So that's pretty cool to see. I think OCBs are pretty good. I mean, they have the Yorton Cup. That's like their own world championships. NGA has their own universe, which is similar to the world championship. But I think from what I see, WNBF is honestly like the way to go. It's more prestigious, meaning just the quality. Like, you definitely have more international competitors within the WNBF. However, don't let this kind of discourage you from trying out different federations, because you never know. If you are a competitor, if that's in your nature, like you want to compete and have a good time, try it out. Because I must say, even though WNBF was more prestigious, it was a little bit nutty backstage. Like, it was, I honestly did not think it was well organized. At least for the shows that I did, it was just really messy. There was a lot of rushed. The NGA show I did was pretty organized, but then again, the different amount of competitors varied, so it's hard to say, because the WNBF show that I did, the Hercules, was definitely bigger than the NGA show. So whenever there's more people, it's harder to get everybody in line, so I am more mindful of that. But I definitely do recommend you trying out, for anybody that wants to do natural bodybuilding, try out different federations. Because I remember when I first did it this past year, my wife Maggie, she actually enjoyed it a lot. She actually enjoyed watching the NGA show, and she was like, wow, it's actually really fun to watch. So I think all of these factors, it varies, because you never know who's going to show up. There are shows where they used to have like 20 competitors, now only have 10. Keep in mind that people do tend to take 2 years off in between competing. So if you have a bunch of people competing 2018, you're probably not going to see a bunch of people competing until like 2020. So it does vary depending on the years. That's something you can't control. So it's almost as if you're planning to see which show is more competitive. You can never plan or know who's showing up. You can only control what you're bringing. So I've seen guys, I've seen past shows on YouTube where there was like 9 people for the weight class, and then the next year there's only like 1. So it really varies. So don't let that discourage you from starting your journey. I think you should definitely choose one show that you've always wanted to do. So for example, for me, one show that I always wanted to do was the Hercules, because it's close to home and it's one of the most prestigious amateur show to gain a pro card. It's a super pro qualifier. So I was very fortunate enough to do it. But I was very open-minded to try different federations, because I love competing and I just love different environments. And I honestly had a really good time doing NGA. I haven't done OCB, but for my next season, I'm thinking of trying out OCB as well, depending on how things go. Definitely map out your schedule, because a lot of these shows are like back to back, and one thing you don't want to do is like a back to back show, because you're gonna get mentally exhausted. So definitely check out the federation's calendar. Just keep some shows in mind that's close to you that you might want to do. I would also look up on YouTube just to see what the turnout's like. The thing with YouTube is like a lot of the videos that they post up are like, some of them are recent, but most of them are like from the past, like within the last 3-4 years. And let me tell you this, guys, 3-4 years, a lot of things can happen in 3-4 years. So something that's popping 3-4 years ago can be pretty slow and quiet now, and vice versa. Something that's slow and quiet 3-4 years ago could be live if you go this year. So definitely keep in mind the main shows. Choose out a main show. Also choose out a warm-up show. Space it out, just for you kind of break the ice, you know. So in case you have any jitters, get rid of the jitters. And I also like warm-up shows because it gives you a chance to see what you need to fine-tune in. So for example, if you come in and you watch it, you're like, hey, you know, I need to work on posing, I need to come in leaner, I need to, you know, it's more data for you on how you can peak yourself for the show. Choosing the show is always the exciting part, and sticking to your game plan is also an exciting part. So I would definitely recommend doing shows that's more local to you, because I know on the West Coast they do have more like the PNBA, they do have the Muscle Mayhem. I don't know if they have much NGA out there. I know OCB is more like the Midwest, so it really depends. But nonetheless, a lot of these promoters are pretty, they're pretty good. You know, at the end of the day, everybody wants to put on a great show, a great venue for the competitors. That's just something for you to look at to see where you're from and what you might want to do. And remember, there's no right or wrong. You live and learn. So for example, if you do one show, one federations, you know, taking what you really like and taking what you didn't like so much, and then the next time, you know, think about if you want to do it again. My experience with the NGA, I had a great time. I would definitely do another NGA show for sure, but I also want to try out OCB just to see what it's like. I know there's one in Brooklyn, from close where I'm from, and that show's towards August, so I might do one depending how things go. So there's no right or wrong answers. I just want to make sure I'm answering all your questions. So another question is, some shows like Jordan Cup, PNBA does have, and Natural Olympia, they do give away money prizes. However, if your sole purpose is to compete, just a chance to win like a big prize amount, then natural bodybuilding is not the way to go. Because the prizes are very limited for the amount of money you spend on food, training, supplements. It's really little to none, and a lot of these pot prizes are it's really built on how many competitors they get. So only like the real grand shows you get prize. I know NGA at the pro level you do get prize. I think it's like if it's under like 5 competitors, it's $700 for first place. But there's like 7 or more, I think it's like $1,000. So as you can see, it's nice to win some money, but it's definitely with the cost of tanning and, you know, buying the card. Because remember, when you compete in these federations, you do need a membership card. So, you know, funny story, I paid like $90 for an amateur NGA card, but then I turned pro. So what happened? I have to pay another $100 for a pro membership. So it just shows that it does cost. It's a pretty expensive sport. Definitely the gold standard, if I could recommend one. If you only plan to do one show, I would definitely do a WNBF show. That's definitely the gold standard. And if you do crack pro, get your pro card, you're pretty much a pro in every federation. So you just gotta transfer your pro status by purchasing a pro membership card. So, you know, the next time around when I do compete, I will be getting pro memberships for OCB and NGA, depending what I want to do. And I will be getting an amateur card for WNBF, because I'm still on the hunt for my pro card. Let me see. I hope this answered all of your questions. So each federations will have a world championships. I believe the WMBF World is the truest world's championships, because just the amount of competitors, international competitors, is it's amazing. And if something that you want is to compete with the best of the best with a stacked lineup, I would definitely go with WMBF, because one of my dreams is just to see how I hang with the best of the best, and that's the WMBF Worlds. So there's a lot of good shows. So I hope this answers your question. If you guys have any more questions, just please feel free to contact me, email me, or you guys can send me a DM on Shao Fitness handle on Instagram, or you guys can leave a comment below, and I'll try my best to make a video or just respond to you. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys like the video, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.